Reporting from Brisbane today, our second location in Australia. And for today's session, I wanted to go over the history of the Aborigines. But first, let's focus on a little bit of history of Brisbane itself. The region was first explored in 1799 by Matthew Flinders. He landed at Moreton Bay at the Red Cliff Point, named after the Red Cliffs of the region. But it was years later, in 1823, that John Oxley and his expedition party fully explored the area, naming both the river that they went up, as well as the region Brisbane, after the governor of New South Wales, who had commissioned the exploration, Thomas Brisbane. Now, similar to Sydney, Brisbane, also named after a magistrate, was first founded as a penal colony. After a penal colony was settled, 13 years later, in 1837, the first settlers arrived, and then in 1840, 3 years after that, all the convicts had been removed, and Brisbane became a free colony. Now, we've explored the word Sydney, the origins of it, the origins of the word Brisbane, so let's explore the word Australia now, briefly. Australia stems from the Latin word Australis, meaning southern. During the Roman times, there was a legend dating back that said there was a southern continent unknown region known as Terra Australis Incognita, and that's when Australia was explored, that's what it became under. Now that we've fully explored Australia's history, let's delve a bit deeper into its first inhabitants, the Aborigines. Now, scholars believe the Aborigines first settled the region 40 to 50,000 years ago, and they migrated over a land bridge from Asia. The word Aborigine is also derived from Latin, meaning first, earliest, known, or indigenous, so it's very appropriate for the people here. The term actually existed in the 17th century, but it was applied specifically to the natives of Australia in the mid-1700s, once the British entered the region. Now, the Aborigines, by about 1780, numbered between 350,000 and 700,000, and they were divided into 250 different nations, each with several clans and tribes, and each with their own language. The majority of people lived as hunter and gatherers, and were strong believers in this idea of the dreaming, a sacred once upon a time, if you will, a time when the creator ancestors, known as the first people, wandered the land, naming and creating as they went. This idea of the dreaming, this spiritual set of beliefs, a mythology, if you will, is a fundamental core belief and set out to explain lots of the themes and topics similar to other mythologies of its time. The one core belief that people really delved into was this idea that a person existed eternally in the dream time, that before they were born, after they died, their souls or spirit existed in this dream time. Now, with the invasion of the British and with the decimation of the population and the culture of the Aborigines, this became much more prevalent. When the British arrived, about 50% of the population was killed, either through massacres or smallpox, and 200 of the 250 languages simply disappeared. So this idea of existing forever in time was very paramount. And over the years, as the Aborigines population began to recover, became integrated into society, the Aborigine rose up into prominence in many positions. They grew up to be politicians, athletes. 500 of them also served in World War I. Although racism here still exists as it does in the United States, the Aborigine population remains strong, and despite everything that's happened to them, they still exist. Their souls and spirits continue to exist in the dream time, as they always have. Thank you.